What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another highly combustible reaction. We're jumping into Scotland. That's what we're jumping into. We're going to Scotland. Top 10 places to visit in Scotland from Ryan Shirley. Get over, show them all the love in the world if you haven't done so already. Go check out the rest of Ryan's videos. The problem I have with top 10 places videos is because there's always someone out there that says that's not the top place. There's always people that disagree, or there's other ones that say, you know what, he missed a whole bunch of places. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's because a whole bunch of places don't fit on a top 10 list. It's only 10. Maybe you only go to 10 or 20 or 15, and then you got to pick your top ones. Not everyone's top is going to be the same. Let's jump in and just call it 10 beautiful places to visit in Scotland. Go show Ryan Shirley the love. Let's go.
What's up, guys? My name is Ryan, and last summer I did a road trip around.
This already looks like a phenomenal, magical place. This looks like damn Hobbit town.
Scotland, and I want to show you my favorite places. So here's my Scotland top 10.
Notice he said my Scotland top 10, not your Scotland top 10. He's not trying to tell you the top 10 or that everybody's going to think are the top 10. This is some magical place, man.
You want to go back?
I knew Scotland was magical, but you guys had a lot of crazy ass landforms and things like that.
Time and feel like you're in a fairy tale. Scotland is the place for you. It's easy to see why so many legends and popular books such as Harry Potter have been born here. It's truly one of the world's most enchanted places. So
really
for our first location,
like
we're going to visit the Old Man of Storr. Now, the Old Man of Storr is located on the Isle of Skye, which is about a 5-hour drive from Edinburgh. It's one of my all-time favorite rock formations. I felt like I was on the set of Game of Thrones. When you drive to the store, you can see it in the distance, and it gets you like so pumped.
I'm expecting a dragon to fly over one of these hills.
Of Game of Thrones. When you drive to the store, you can see it in the distance, and it gets you like so pumped. It's just such a cool rock formation. Now, to hike to the Old Man of Storr, it's about a 4-kilometer walk. You'll go through some conservation gates and you'll reach the infamous rock pinnacles. I went there for sunrise and sunset, and both occasions were absolutely breathtaking. When I was there, crows were flying around the rocks and there was just some sheep running around. I mean, it was so magical. The legend of the Old Man of Storr is supposedly a giant lived there a long time ago, and when he was buried, his thumb was left sticking out of the ground, creating the mystical rock formations.
Yo, that would be a hell of a giant. That's way bigger of a giant than when I think of a giant. That's like a colossus.
When you go there, it's easy to see why it's one of the world's most iconic rock formations. I have to say this is one of my all-time favorite places, and I recommend everyone to see it at least once in their life.
You are advised to go beyond this point. I like that.
There's a breathtaking waterfall called the Meout Falls that cascades down into the ocean. There's also a nice viewpoint where you can get a great view of the waterfall. There's also just beautiful sea cliffs in the area. One of the most famous is Kilt Rock, which looks like a kilt that descends down to the ocean. All the east side of the Isle of Skye, there's just such beautiful coastline there. So
listen, I have seen a lot of waterfalls in my travel, but I have never seen a waterfall that just kind of dumps off into the ocean.
We're gonna head over to another one of Scotland's most iconic locations, to the Glenfinnan Viaduct. So it's located at the top of Loch Shiel in the West Highlands of Scotland. It was completed around 1898. So it may look familiar because it was featured in Harry Potter. You'll see the train going there when it's heading to Hogwarts. So when I was there, I wanted to get a close-up to the bridge,
I thought it looked familiar.
Walked underneath it, and I was just shook by how big it really was. I mean, those arches are just massive. So after, I hiked to a good vantage point where I could see the famous train go across the viaduct. I mean, it is just such a magical place. The backdrop of Loch Shiel is absolutely stunning, and definitely recommend visiting there. Alright, so after Glenfinnan, we're going to head over to Edinburgh. Now, if you want to go back in time, Edinburgh is a must. Edinburgh is the place where J.K. Rowling was when she wrote Harry Potter. So, when you're going to...
Edinburgh is where my former brother-in-law lives. And he's already told me how magical it is on various occasions. I certainly need to
go there. You're gonna get all sorts of
go visit.
Magical
Living there
inspiration. Now. When I first started solo traveling, Edinburgh was one of the first places I've ever went to. It's this medieval old town with intricate neoclassical buildings, cobblestone streets, and beautiful gardens. The iconic Edinburgh Castle overlooks the city and is home to Scotland's crown jewels. When I was there, I didn't go to the castle because it was so crowded and I didn't really feel like spending money. Kind of regret it, but definitely recommend go checking that out. One of my favorite places in Edinburgh is Calton Hill. It's just a short walk from the castle and it offers a beautiful view of the city. They have this really cool national monument there, these really cool pillars. All right, so while we're still in Edinburgh, we're gonna head over to Arthur's Seat. Now, Arthur's Seat is located in Holyrood Park and is just a short walk from Edinburgh Center. Now, Arthur's Seat is an extinct volcano that has an elevation of 823 feet. When I was
Look at this, it's so cool. It's like you're in the city, but you're never like a stone's throw away from some kind of nature. I like that. The wide open spaces, and then bam, here's the city. And then wide open spaces, and over here, you gotta drive to get to the nature points.
a extinct volcano that has an elevation of 823 feet. When I was there, I just saw Arthur's Seat from the distance, and I was like, okay, I want to hike it because I wanted to get a view of all of Edinburgh. So anyways, I made the hike up. You'll walk around Holyrood Park, take the short little hike up there. When I was there, it was so windy. I couldn't believe how windy it was. It nearly blew me over. After I hiked to the top, I went down and walked around Holyrood Park and just enjoyed the views of Edinburgh. Just such a beautiful city. So after Edinburgh, we're gonna head back over to the west side of Scotland to visit the Eilean Donan Castle. Hope I said that right. If you're driving to the Isle of Skye, you're gonna drive right by it. It's situated on a small tidal island at a point where three great sea locks meet. So the castle was built in the 13th century. I'm really mad at myself because I didn't stop here. When I first drove by it and it was good weather, I just didn't even know it existed. And then the second time I drove by it, it was just pouring rain. So I just couldn't even go to the castle. It's definitely one of the biggest regrets I have of it in Scotland. So definitely,
It's a castle with its own little island.
don't make my mistake and make sure you make a pit stop at one of Scotland's most famous castles.
That's
Alright,
a
so
great
after the
place for a
We're
castle.
gonna make the short drive over to the nearby Cullen Mountains. Now, the Cullen Mountains are this very unique mountain range located on the Isle of Skye. When I was there, I went to the Slickishan Bridge, which is at the base of the Cullen Mountains. The Slickishan Bridge is just super famous and scenic. When I was there, I didn't get many shots of the bridge because there was a lot of people on them, but I did get some beautiful shots of the mountains. They had such a unique shape. I love the contrast of the green peaks against the blue sky backdrop. I mean, it was just such a stunning location. Another enchanting location in the Cullen Mountains is the fairy pools. Now, the fairy
Yep. See? I knew. You know, looking at it, that it's the land of magical creatures. You do. I don't you fairies, leprechauns, unicorns. We know about woodland creatures,
Another
about
enchanting
woodland fairy
location in the
magical
Cullen
creatures.
Mountains is the fairy pools. Now, the fairy pools is just a short 30-minute drive from the Slickishan. The fairy tales, they're just located at the base of a dramatic black Cullen Mountains. I was just blown away by the vibrant green slopes and the dark mountain in the background. It was just pitch black. I
That's
felt like
crazy.
Gandalf was going to run down with a massive horse army, like in the Two Towers Lord of the Rings movie. It was just so epic. When I was there were so many midges, which are like these annoying gnat-like bugs.
I was gonna say, what the hell's a midge? That's a magical creature I haven't heard of.
I mean, they're just horrible. I didn't have any bug spray, so I didn't dare walk down to the pools. I mean, I wish I would have gone. I mean, those pools are just such an iconic sight. The water is so magical and so clear, so that's another one of my regrets when I went to Scotland. So make sure
You would never catch me in my house. You would never catch me in my room. You might not even ever catch me at
either
work.
bring bug spray or go in a different time than August. That's when I was there.
I'm
So
hitting
after
the
fairy
wilderness.
pools, we're gonna head over to another mythical location, to the Fairy Glen. Now,
Fairy pools, fairy glen, because they
Fairy
know
Glen is a very
fairies
popular
exist.
destination in the Isle of Skye. To get there, you're going to drive on this really small, sketchy road to get there. Find a little parking spot, and then you just make like the short 5-minute hike to the Fairy Glen. Now, what it's famous for is it has these rings of rocks, and people often put some money in the center as an offering to the fairies. When I was there, I found this really cool rock formation that I hiked to so I could get a better view of those rings, and I also got some really cool views of the area. I mean, the grass is just so green there. I mean, it was such a cool place. I felt like a kid walking around those green hills, keeping my eyes open to see if I could see any mythical creatures or any fairies.
They're
It puts you
there.
in a magical mindset. All right, so after the Fairy Glen, we're going to head over to the Duncansby Stacks, hope I said that right, Anyways, it's located in the most northern eastern part of the British mainland, just right at the tip there. It's quite the drive from Edinburgh, so it's quite the road trip.
He really covered a lot of road though to get to epic places. Like he didn't just fly in and do 10 spots around the airport or anything like that. Like this is legit traveling around and seeing the country.
It's home to some of the world's most beautiful ski stacks. Unfortunately, when I was in Scotland, I didn't have enough time to drive up there, but when I'm back, I'm going to make sure I visit the dramatic landscape. I just can't get over how epic the sea pinnacles are. Just such an insane location. Alright, so after the sea stacks, we're going to head over to the Bedian Nam Bian mountain. Probably said that wrong, but anyways, I found this place.
I love him. He's seriously like just seems like a really humble, legit, honest dude.
By accident. I was driving from the Isle of Skye down to Glasgow, and I stumbled upon this magic location. I mean, I couldn't believe how huge these mountains were. I felt like I was in Switzerland or Norway. I mean, I didn't even know Scotland had just big mountains. I thought it was pretty flat. The Bedian
That's a mountain.
3,770 feet high. So it's just huge. I mean, there's a scenic waterfall, and the valley was just beautiful. There was some sheep grazing. If you keep driving towards Glasgow, you'll pass some more massive mountains, such as this one. And then if you keep going, you will drive by Loch Lomond, which is just another massive lake. This is why I love driving in Scotland. There's just so many beautiful occasions that you just stumble upon accidentally. Alright, so for our final location, we're going to head back over to the Isle of Skye to the Quiraing Mountains. Now, aside from the Old Manor Store, I'd have to say the Quiraing is one of my favorite places and landscapes in Scotland. It's a set of dramatic rock formations located on the side of a mountain. Quiraing was formed by a landslide long time ago. The grass is so green there, I felt like I'm like on a giant golf course. Anyways, to get there, I drove up this windy road. Be careful because I popped my tire because the road is super bumpy. Anyways, I got to the parking lot and I started the trek to the Quiraing. Now, it was a super easy hike. It only took me like 30 minutes. There's no elevation gain. On the hike, I came across some sheep that were just vibing. I also saw some really cool rock fields, and then I was just surrounded by just these magical mountains. They just have this really unique shape that I've never seen before.
I want to go vibe with
There's
the sheep
lakes,
too.
And then you have the view of the ocean. It's just such a...
You really picked a spectacular place to stand, but I don't know that I would have the nerves to get up there. That's a rough and tumble kind of fall if you were to fall. I don't know how big that rock that you're standing on is, but
a unique place. When I was there, I was lucky enough to have sunny weather. A lot of people I've talked to said when they've gone, it's just been so cloudy they couldn't even see anything. So I feel pretty fortunate about that. The Quiraing is just such a beautiful area that offers great hiking trails and just some of the world's most outstanding views. Alright, so that is it for my Scotland video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Scotland is just one of the world's most magical and beautiful places. There's a lot of locations that I left out, so much more to explore than just my video, but I hope this helps and hope it inspires you to visit somewhere new this year. If you guys like my content, make sure you subscribe and give this a like so more people can see it. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at shirley.films. It's Ryan, and we will see you later.
hey, 100% get over and show Ryan all the love in the world. Some crazy cool flybys, some beautiful atmosphere. If that doesn't make you want to go see it in real life, like I don't know what will. It really is like you opened a fairy tale book and boom, here's this land that you've never visited before right here in front of your eyes. Even with magical naming sounding places. Like, I can't believe that this is people's normal. And you know that those people are just like we are here with our golden hills and our little mountains that we have around our valley. Like, to us, that's just a normal, like, we see it all the time. To other people that come, they're like, oh, wow, it's really beautiful. Or, oh, I didn't know the mountains got this gold. Like, it's amazing that when you travel, the things that you see are somebody's normal out there. It could be your normal, too. If you ever feel like, get that itch, so you know what, maybe I was meant to be living abroad or studying abroad, I say scratch said itch and go do it, because you never ever know where it's gonna lead. 100% go show Ryan Shirley all the love of the world. Seems like a really genuine dude. I would like to have a beer with him. I would like to hang out. Smash the like button if you liked it. The dislike button, but it won't believe you at all. Tell the next one about the combustible. You guys be happy, healthy, safe. I love you to the moon and back. Peace.